Well, hello and a very warm welcome. Today I'm joined by the Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Mr. Tarun Kapoor. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir, on Business Today Television. First question, of course, the most important one for the consumers. The prices have been reduced finally after a long, long time. What is the outlook that you have for crude prices, and in India especially, how do you see the prices going for petrol and diesel, sir?
So now if you're asking about the outlook on crude price, the crude price currently is hovering between $80 and $85. And what we expect is that it depends on how severe the winter is. Because this time the surge in crude price has been triggered by higher price of coal in the international market and also of LNG or natural gas. So, as you know that the natural gas price, which used to be in the range of say earlier $6-7 per MBTU and then went up to say around $11-12, it started rising and it went up to $55-56. So, which means that an increase by 5 times, 6 times. Now also it has come down, but still it's around $30. And price of crude has also risen. Now price of crude has risen because people fear that there might be severe winter in Europe or on the western some of these countries, and they need to create a good reserve to cover those winters. So there was more buying in the market and the price started going up. So the expectation now, most of the predictions which have come from various global agencies is that the price would remain at the same level for some time. We also expect that, and then it will start coming down. Post winters, it will certainly come down. But if the winters are not very severe, then maybe even earlier it might come down.
Right. I mean, I think that's a great news for the consumers, sir. Approximately 8 to 9 states have not reduced VAT on fuel. I know you cannot direct states to reduce VAT because it's a state, more of a state subject. Have you written at your end to the states, to the respective chief secretaries, in fact, has the minister intervened in that? Has there been intervention written to the states regarding that, sir?
The central taxes are fixed and reduced or increased by the finance ministry, so we don't get into that. And states have a right to impose VAT or to reduce VAT.
Right, sir.
So they take their own decisions. And from the ministry side, we would like to see a more uniform pricing in the country, because otherwise then if the variation from state to state is too huge, then sometimes in border petrol stations the sales get affected. So other than that, then we really don't intervene in this.
What happens if they don't reduce the VAT, sir? What intervention can you do to ensure the price regularity maintained, sir?
If there is a huge difference in VAT, then we can't do much because the price is determined totally by a formula. So there is hardly any discretion with the oil marketing companies. They can't suddenly increase or decrease, or they can't have a different yardstick for each state. So for them, whatever is their component, the basic price, it has to be applied at
Basically,
that
it's
formula
onus on the
only.
states to really
Yeah,
think about the
yeah,
people and take
yeah.
action. So the government has been really, the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas especially has been talking aloud about performance of ONGC as far as its expectations of exploration and production goes. You yourself has written many times. The additional secretary has also written many times regarding this. What is really the problem with ONGC? So why do you think it has not been able to perform? It's really well, considering it's a Maharatna company. You cannot issue many directives to ONGC. What do you think is the problem, sir?
So we have a lot of expectations from ONGC because ONGC is the largest player on the upstream side in production of crude and natural gas, and they will have a very major role to play if we are looking for increasing the domestic production. The call which Honorable Prime Minister has given, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and trying to reduce imports. And now this can happen only if we pay more attention to exploration. That's what we've been telling ONGC, because we need some more major discoveries. With the current discoveries, whatever we have, there is a natural decline. After some time, the production starts declining. And there are certain techniques which some technical measures are there which can be used to ramp up production, but again it will happen for a few years and then again there will be a decline. So basically, in order to increase production, we need more discoveries, we need to increase the spread. So we've been requesting ONGC also to look at more areas, which means that ONGC must grow. We are not asking ONGC to shrink, we are asking ONGC to take larger areas, and when they take larger areas, the work with them will increase, and they would also need some specialization. They would need some agencies which are experts in certain areas like deep sea or certain other, say, shale gas. So we've been asking ONGC to look for participation of the private sector as per their requirement. We are not asking them to give up what they are good at. We are not asking them to give up their wells which are producing well, which are doing well. But then we are asking them, number one, to increase their total area under exploration, get more discoveries, and involve private sector so that they can do more work. That's the idea.
Right. Sir, has any private player reached out to the government to help ONGC?
Private players, the private players you can classify in two categories. One, international large companies who are experts in certain special tasks, and then there are large number of small companies and service providers. So when we talk of the large companies, international companies, they will come in only if something very big is offered to them. So that ONGC is in talks with several companies. We have also held discussions, and we are also looking at domestic companies, small companies. We want them to come up so that they have good equipment, good technology, and a lot of work can be outsourced. We need service providers. We need people who given a particular area, they are able to maximize production. They are able to come up with technologies and techniques which probably they can also do international collaborations at their end, but they can bring in some more efficient methods, and they can also use scale to deliver something which would be more economic, which would add value. There are certain discoveries which could not be monetized because the cost was high. So by maybe better techniques and involving the private sector, we can bring down the cost, and then those discoveries also become economically viable.
Sir, is it okay to say that the board of ONGC, when it meets in the next quarter or the next quarter, could consider such proposals?
I think so. They would. They are also quite positive.
Sure, sir. Sir, how is the focus on increasing domestic production and exploration? You've been asking ONGC again, yes, but what is the other government's focus on increasing its domestic reliance on its domestic sources rather than looking for increasing oil imports?
So we are looking at increasing the production in the short run, medium run, and in the long run. So in the short run, from the existing fields, we are trying to sort out. There are some contractual issues, so we've sorted out quite a large number of contractual issues, and we are also looking at deploying technology so that the production goes up. And we've drawn up a plan for the next 3 years, and we expect that the production will go up according to that plan. In natural gas, you know that the production has already gone up. This year, there has been a major increase. Next year, again, we expect some more increase. In the oil also, we expect some increase to come. In the medium run, there are some fields which were given out in the last 5-6 years, and those fields will come into production. So the idea is to bring them into production as soon as possible. And then in the long run, we have to look for larger areas under exploration and getting more discoveries.
Is there also a plan to work on longer term contracts for fixed price? There have been talks before as well. What is the outlook there, sir?
So if you are talking of long-term contracts for purchase of crude and LNG,
Yes, sir.
so we are looking at such opportunities where we can overcome this difficult situation which comes up due to this high volatility in the international market. So in natural gas, we already have some long-term contracts which are not linked to the gas index. They are linked to the oil index. Because of that, the volatility has been quite less, and we are able to get natural gas at a price which is more reasonable even now. Going forward, we want to look at some such long-term contracts in oil also, but then we have to see how the market
How will it be
behaves.
implemented? So will there be a approval by the CCEA, or it would be a Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gases MOU with somebody? How will it work, sir?
So we are working on various alternatives. Hedging is also one of the alternatives, though it has not been done so far. But then talking to some oil majors and trying to see if we can work out some long-term contracts. Right now, even the term contracts in oil are just 1 year. They are not more than that.
So the prices of PNG, LNG and CNG have touched literally all-time highs, sir. Especially with the LPG sector, the domestic cylinders, of course, the average Indian is getting really troubled about it. Is there any intervention being planned on that front, sir? Could you throw some light on that?
So, as far as PNG
CNG
and CNG is concerned, because that's based on natural gas. So, you know that natural gas price internationally has gone up.
Yes, sir.
And you also know that in between, when COVID was at its peak, the price had gone down to such a level that it became absolutely below the cost of production also. And even the domestic production, which is based on price fixation by the government, these are some old nomination fields which go to the priority sector where PNG and CNG is involved. Now there the price has gone to a very, very low level. Now that level was unsustainable. So now the price has come to a slightly realistic level. So price of PNG and CNG has gone up. But what I would like to say is that now it has come to a level which is the natural or normal level. Earlier it was much below the cost of production, which was not sustainable. So therefore, CNG and PNG prices have not really gone over the roof, or there is no concern there at the moment, because even now CNG price in Delhi is in the 50s and not very high, much cheaper than diesel. Now, as far as LPG is concerned, LPG, as you know, is a product of refineries. It is separate from natural gas, and LPG price depends on the price of crude. So, if price of crude has gone up, international price of LPG has also gone up. And LPG is used in some certain other countries for heating, and also some of that same product, propane and butane, are diverted for production of various petrochemicals. So because of that, internationally price of LPG has gone up quite substantially, even more than the price of natural gas. No, not natural gas, crude.
Sorry, yeah.
Natural gas price is the highest.
It's highest, correct.
As on today, natural gas in the international spot market per comparing the same calorific value is the most expensive, and then LPG. LPG has also gone up, but not as high as natural gas. So, but this has also gone up, and because this has gone up, so the price here also has gone up. So we are just waiting for the market to cool down.
Do you think in the coming times, in the coming months, LPG prices would cool off?
Again, as I mentioned earlier, it all depends on the severity of winter, and after winter, certainly it will cool down. And it will cool down even before that, in case we get hints that, or the world or the market gets hints that the winter is not as severe.
Right. Sir, one more thing I'd like to ask you, that can Finance Ministry do something on reducing prices of LPG?
No, see, this is all dependent on the international market. It's all linked.
Really?
So LPG, some we manufacture in the country, but again it's from crude. So if crude price is high, domestic price is high, and some we import. So there the price has gone up.
Right, now I shift my focus towards a larger petroleum ministry's ambit. So government recently approved 20% ethanol by blending by 2025, 5 years ahead of its initially proposed target. Do you think India will be able to achieve that blending targets? Where are we right now, and what all steps are being undertaken to ensure that this blending target is met, sir?
So, a blending target will be met if we have enough ethanol available in the country. We are not importing; it's all domestic manufacture. So, to achieve 20% blending in 25, considering the petrol consumption in that year, you would need about 1,000 crore liters of ethanol. So, currently our supplies are between 300 and 325. This is after a massive surge in the last 1 year. The year previous to that, we procured only 173 crore liters. This year, we are procuring more than 300 crore liters. So, now, which means that currently there is a domestic spare capacity, because you know that distilleries also make certain other products. So, for ethanol, they are able to supply more than 300 crore liters this year, and the capacity is fast getting ramped up. Recently, we came out with the expression of interest to identify some plants which would be dedicated ethanol plants. The idea now is to get some plants which produce, or distilleries which commit that they will produce only ethanol. They will not divert, because otherwise then we can't have assured supplies.
Correct.
So, we need assured supplies now. So, we had a very massive response, much more than what we expected. And based on that, we expect that the production capacity in the country will go up tremendously in the next 2 to 3 years. In fact, next year itself, we expect some plants to get commissioned, even some new plants to get commissioned, and some expansion of existing plants also to take place. So, we expect that this dedicated ethanol capacity, we are targeting about, say, 700 crore liter per annum of dedicated ethanol plant capacity. So, by 25, by the time we need this quantity.
Right.
So, we expect that in the next 3 to 4 years, we should get at least 4 to 500 extra capacity of dedicated plants, and then going forward some more. And if this capacity comes up, then we have ethanol available, then there is no challenge. The only other challenge is motor vehicles have to be compatible, which the manufacturers are working on.
Right. Sir, that also means that the export on that the sugar subsidy on export also gets cuts down, because there's no need to export the leftover sugar.
So, here whatever we are targeting from food grain which is either damaged or food grain which
Rice,
is
maize, wheat, and
surplus.
correct.
We are not hitting the requirement for food, because that comes first, and there are enough surpluses in the country. And we are also targeting surplus from sugar. Again, absolutely only surplus. The food part comes first, and there is no intention at all to have any impact on the food availability.
That's great thinking, sir. So, what is the update on BPCL? The favorite question for everyone now. What is the update on BPCL? The access to the virtual bidding, virtual data room was given in April. Until now, in November, we don't have any real update on the thing. I know the top officials really, you all guys really meet on the same subject, sir. Where are we right now, sir? Any clarity on that, sir?
So, because it's quite a large disinvestment, so it's taking some time. Deepam is working on it. I don't have too much of a data on this issue, because the other ministry looks after this.
Right. Last question, sir. Of course, the finance minister recently took a meeting on the Capex spending along with the transport and the steel ministry. What was the chief important directives given by the FM, and what are you all working on?
So, our ministry has quite a huge capex, which is over 1 lakh crore per annum, and the government has been emphasizing that the number one, the capex spend should be increased, so that there is more economic activity in the country, and number two, we should try to load upfronts, to bring forward certain expenditures in capex, so that the impact on the economy is faster. So, we've done that, and our companies are working on several infrastructure projects, which include pipelines, refineries, then certain storage projects, and certain other energy related developmental projects. Our companies are also getting into renewables in a big way. So we expect that we will achieve our target. We may even exceed the target. And in the coming years also, the ministry will maintain a high capex.
Is the project on the National Potassium Pipeline for GAIL pipelines on track, sir? Everything on track there, sir?
Yes, almost all the pipelines are on track. Some are doing better than what was planned. Some are lagging behind a little bit, but we will catch up. The main issues remain with regards to right of way in some places. Other than that, I think things are quite okay.
Well, a very comprehensive and an exhaustive interview given by the Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Tarun Kapoor. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir. Well, that was Mr. Tarun Kapoor talking about how the government has been continuously working towards giving relief to the consumers, and hopefully in the months to come, the prices of petrol and diesel for the common man will remain stable. With Cameraman Pawan, this is Chetan Bhutani for Business Today Television.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.